What does the letter Z on the Russian tanks stand for?
Possible not to notice. Many of the Russian vehicles invading Ukraine carry a distinctive mark. Trucks, tanks, fighting, engineering and logistical vehicles. They are advancing through Ukraine with the letter Z.
Others say it's a warning. As this debate continues, and there's a lot of speculation around it, back in Russia, the symbol has become a trend of sorts. Russian nationalists are using it in their rallies. Russian citizens have emblazoned it on their cars. But what does the symbol really mean for them? Here's a report.
There's been a lot of debate about what the letter Z stands for on the Russian military vehicles. There's various theories, but I have my own theory what the Z stands for. There's something very unusual. In New Zealand, we have a petrol station chain called Z. It seems rather unusual that in Russia, on the other side of the world, they use the letter Z, and a fuel company in New Zealand has branded its fuel station Z. I imagine there's not meant to be a connection there, but there must be some common meaning.
2 years ago, we burst onto the fuel market with a new attitude and a bold ambition.
We bought Shell's entire New Zealand network.
Next, we created an iconic brand.
It'll be called Z.
Z, as in NZ.
And challenged ourselves not to be just another oil company, but a world-class Kiwi company.
During the Second World War, the Nazi SS put a V on their uniform. If you want to understand why there's a Z on the Russian tanks, you probably need to understand why there's a V on the Russian tanks. No one seems to be asking that question. Everyone seems to be debating what the Z stands for. It seems unusual that a Russian military vehicle would have a V symbol after what the Russian suffered during the Second World War. Close to 90% of the casualties fighting Nazi German were the Russians on the Eastern Front. Russia took a hell of a pounding during the Second World War. So it seems unusual that they would put what is known to be a Nazi symbol on their military vehicles. No one seems to be asking what the V stands for. I think the V and the Z are connected. One theory about the Nazi V on their uniforms was it stood for the Knights Templar, which are living in Switzerland now. I mean, that's up for debate, but obviously they know what the V stands for. If you look at ancient Egyptian gods, you used to have Isis, Horus and Set. Isis has already blown up the Middle East. M under ancient Egyptian mythology stands for Isis, the mother goddess. V stands for the daughter of the mother goddess. Set is the Egyptian god of evil. The number 7 represents Set, but also the letter Z and the number 7 are made from the same icon. So Z in Egyptian mythology stands for Set, the Egyptian god of evil. If you translate Z to Hebrew, you get Zion, which is the 7th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. It actually means the crown or weapons. If you have a look at Russians' crest of arms, you've actually got a double-headed chicken with 3 crowns. There's a big crown at the top, and each of the heads has another crown. Also, if you look at the middle, you actually have St. George slaying a dragon. And if you have a look at the British Buckingham Palace, on the gates of Buckingham Palace is the royal crest. There's a lion with a crown on top, and the lion has a crown. But if you look at the bottom, there's St. George slaying the dragon, just the same as the Russian crest of arms. And if you wonder where that comes from, you assume it probably comes from the Bank of St. George in Genoa. The Bank of St. George in Genoa, Italy, was the first of the modern banks. The crest of the city of Genoa actually has a Red Cross flag with a crown on the top, and on top of the crown there's the Roman god Janus with another crown on the top. Here's a photo of Janus. Janus has a face looking forwards and backwards. The flag of Genoa was apparently rented to England, and it's used as the English flag, and it's also on the crest of arms of the City of London, the banking section. So perhaps, like most wars, perhaps it's just a banker's war.